Hi there, I'm Adrian Salisbury from SLR Coaching and more recently founder of Pro Video Academy. And in this video, I just want to do a comparison between the Panasonic G7 and the G80 or 85. Okay, so if you've been watching any of my videos, I'm sure you've picked up that I'm a big fan of the Panasonic Lumix range. Now, there is a very strong reason for this. Yes, I like the fact that the bodies are smaller and it's easier than having a big bulky SLR camera. Prices aren't necessarily a lot cheaper than a DSLR. In fact, there isn't really any difference. You could argue that actually it's a dearer way to go because the lenses are slightly dearer than you would get them on a Canon DSLR equivalent. But there is a massive plus. Now I'm sitting out here, just me and you, and I haven't got anybody helping me do the recording. And if I were doing this, now in fairness, if I were doing this on my Canon, I would have the EOS utility app coming into the computer and I could run it from that. If I didn't want to have my computer or away from my desk, I'd be stuffed really. But the thing I love with Panasonic is this. Well done Panasonic for creating an app that lets me record video into it as well as just photos. This is incredible and it's a total game changer for me. I can touch my face on here to make sure that it's focused on me, hit record, change any settings I need to. In fact, I just recorded this, realized that the shutter speed was off, and I'm re-recording it now. So fantastic app, and because of that, this is what I'm recommending to you. So I have been recommending the G80 or the G85. It's the same camera. But somebody asked me, what about the G7? And as it happens, I've been comparing the G7 and the G80. I've got them both here, sent through from Panasonic. But please don't be put off. There's no affiliation in that sense. It's just I asked, could I have a look at this kit? And because we've got a good following on SLR Coaching, they're happy for me to take it and review it. So yes, I've got a G7 and a G85. And what I wanted to do was keep the footage between these two. I didn't want to bring in a third camera and be recording on that. I want the footage to be coming through these with the lens that I've got on. So I will show you the two of them sitting side by side now. Have a look around them. The body is very much the same on both of them. What I would say is that the G7 to start with is it's a very plasticky body. I imagine if I dropped this, it would crack and I'd be stuffed. That's a much stronger body on the G80, but let's kind of list out, if I really tell you the benefits, the things that come extra in the G80 that they don't get in this, and I'll let you pick off really and decide whether you think it's worth it. Maybe what I should say first of all is the price difference. You can actually get this G7 like this, body only, without a lens on it, for $550 on Amazon.com at the minute. All these links I'll put in here for you. The body only of the G80 is $897 at the minute, so that's a big difference. Now, if you put a lens on the front of it, the lens that comes in the kit with the G85 is a better lens than you get in the G7. So take that into account. You're paying more for the kit for having the lens in that. But with a lens then, the G80 is $995 and the G7 with a lens is $797. So you've got £200 difference. Is it worth it? As I say then, the body, more plasticky, more prone to, if you're clumsy, this one you're going to damage easier. That's also got a weather sealed body in the G80. So yeah, it would cope with being out and in a light rain shower. This one wouldn't. The G85 also has Ibis, which is in-body image stabilizing. So you've seen image stabilizing in lenses. Well, this is built into the camera as well now. So I have to say, I was doing a review at the weekend for Sigma lenses and my lad was actually out with me and he was using the G80 with the lens that comes with it, and he was hand holding it and it really did knock out all of that kind of shake or slight movement. Obviously, if he's moving the camera, it's still going to move, but it really did look good, steady footage. So if there's any chance that you might be doing some footage like that, or you're likely to be asking someone to record you out on site somewhere, or at an event. I do think with that G85, you could do some vlogging style stuff. And actually, I tried it. You can actually just hold the thing up like this and it keeps it very steady. So that's one thing to consider. Is that something you're likely to do? Because the image stabilizing that's built into that is really, really good. Now, apparently the image is sharper in the G85. The sensor is the same, but they've changed things around without getting technical. The G85 should be a sharper image, but we're going to have a look in just a minute. But really, aside from that, there's not a lot of difference between them. So if your primary purpose for having this camera is to record like this, sitting on a tripod, is it worth upgrading? Well, I wouldn't be put off at all if you wanted to go down for this G7. The body, the build is the same. The way it records, they're both 4K. It really, let's have a look. And I haven't looked myself yet to see what the image quality is like in a true side-by-side comparison like this. So let's have a look at it. We'll switch the camera over now. But I'm tending to think, do you know what? Maybe this isn't a bad buy. It's obviously cheaper because it's older, it's getting near the end of its life, and before they discontinue it, it'll be reduced. That'll be the same way around in a year or two's time, and then there'll be something newer than that one come along. But let's have a look between the two. So I'm going to switch these over, but this is the G7, and we'll stick it on there, and then I'll have the G80 in my hand. Okay, so I've switched over, and I have to say, on the face of it, I am starting to backtrack a bit and think, do you know what? This G7 looks as if it does everything that this G80 does. It's definitely a nicer body. It feels like a more expensive camera that I've got here. But the app seems to run exactly the same. And all I've seen so far is the image on here. And so I haven't done a true comparison yet. But I just want to record this through. And assuming that this comes out looking as good as this one or very close to it, we might have some soul searching to do to see quite which one we're really going to recommend here. So I'm going to switch these off, pull them into my computer, pull the quality up side by side, and then I'm going to come back on and we'll have a chat about what I think is the way to go. Well, I have to say, G7 I'm going to recommend. So Ari from my group, it was you that asked the question about this. Should you get this one or the 80/85? As I'm putting my course together, I was going, no, sticking with the 85, definitely happy with this, or 80. To be honest, you've just seen the footage there. Now, one thing I would say is that I didn't realize until after I put this one on, the first lot of footage was shot in daylight mode because I'd taken this out yesterday and I hadn't changed the white balance setting back. So bit of a rookie mistake there. Forgive me for that. But that's why it looked a bit warmer in the first clip than when it changed to the second one. But color aside, the quality, I just brought them up on the screen here and I really couldn't tell a difference. Certainly nothing that would make me choose, that would justify 200 quid extra. So I think this is one of those scenarios where for a limited time, the G7 is still available, and actually for what we're doing here in recording videos, there's nothing that this can't do that this one does. They were talking about image quality. I guess if you start pulling photos up and you're looking really close, you're going to see some difference. We're not doing that. Video looking on my computer looks equally as good on the G7 as the G80. So I'm really glad actually I did this, as I say, for Ari, just to be able to go, yeah, which one should you have? But it's actually made me think, right, I need to put this in the content of my academy and my Zero to Go course to just go, actually, if you can get hold of one of these, save yourself 200 quid. That's pretty much the price of the lens that you're putting on the front of it. So you've kind of got a free lens on this one rather than this one. So there you go. There's a bit of a review for you. Do jump across. I am doing a review just saying on, my perfect camera, and have a look at that. It'll tell you a bit more detail as to about why I've chosen this. Please subscribe. Please pass this around. I'm trying to get some traction, trying to get people having a look at these videos and hopefully coming into this community. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much, and all the best with your videos.